Welcome to another edition of Breaking News brought to you by Source Selection Soundbites. Today, we will discuss the case of Great Lakes Dredge and Dock Company, LLC or Great Lakes decided at the GAO. This procurement was initially conducted using FAR 14 procedures, but was converted to a FAR 15 procurement. The Army Corps of Engineers, or the Corps, had a requirement for beach fill and periodic nourishment for shoreline areas in New Jersey. The agency issued an IFB FAR 14 solicitation and received 2 sealed bids, including one from the protester. The bids exceeded available funding. The agency was able to obtain additional funding, but the bids still exceeded agency funds. The Corps issued an amendment that canceled the IFB. The amendment cited 2 bases for the cancellation: that all otherwise acceptable bids received were at unreasonable prices, and that cancellation was clearly in the public's interest without specifying the underlying reason. Subsequently, the Corps advised Great Lakes that it was changing the method of procurement from FAR Part 14 to a FAR Part 15 negotiated procurement by converting the IFB to a Request for Proposals, or RFP. Upon learning of the agency's actions, Great Lakes filed a protest. The protester contends that the reasons articulated by the Corps for its decision to cancel the IFB do not provide a compelling reason to justify cancellation after bids were opened. Specifically, the protester argues that the agency erroneously concluded that the bidders' prices were unreasonable. According to the protester, the agency's conclusions were based on the agency's comparison of the bidders' prices to an unrealistic independent government estimate. Additionally, the protester argues that the agency's assertion that it lacks the funds to award the contract is unsupported. The Corps responds that it reasonably determined that it lacks sufficient funds to award the contract and pay the agency's internal costs to administer the contract, and it maintains that it has authority to convert the IFB to a negotiated procurement on this basis. En route to finding against the agency, the GAO said, "An agency's determination that funds are not available is a sufficient reason to cancel a solicitation, as agencies cannot award contracts that exceed available funds. However, the FAR allows an agency to convert a sealed bidding procurement to a negotiated procurement only where, say, 1. The cancellation is because only unreasonable prices were received. 2. Only one bid for which price reasonableness cannot be determined. 3. Bids were collusive or submitted in bad faith. And 4. No responsive bid received from a responsible bidder. Even though unreasonable prices is an acceptable reason for a conversion, the agency failed to establish its IGCE was realistic, thus supporting its decision. Since none of the reasons set forth in FAR 14 are supported by the record or agency responses to protest allegations, the protest was sustained. Now let's address a few of the lessons learned from this protest. They include: 1. There are 4 reasons for which a conversion may lawfully take place. 2. Cancellation and conversion are 2 separate issues that must bear scrutiny. 3. Where the agency wishes to convert an IFB to an RFP because prices were determined to be unreasonable, the agency must be able to defend its determination that the prices were unreasonable. In this episode of Source Selection Soundbites, we discuss the Great Lakes case and the reasons for which an IFB may be converted to an RFP. This concludes today's Source Selection Soundbite. If this video was helpful, hit the like and subscribe button to ensure you don't miss any new material. If you want more details on the subject, they are available on the Source Selection Answer app. It contains lectures, quizzes, court cases, sample documents, and more material that allows practitioners to quickly obtain actionable knowledge. Thanks for watching. See you next time.